Hey guys, and welcome back to chapters 60 and 61 of David Walliams' Codename Bananas. Now be sure to pay close attention because you will need to retell us about these two chapters, and you're also going to have a couple questions to answer as well. Let's get started with chapter 60 and 61. Chapter 60, Big Red Button. Despite having had so many brushes with death, Eric's will to live was strong. He waded through the flooded submarine before hurling himself at the captain, sweeping him off his feet. Doof! Spear fought back, kicking his legs and wiggling free. Urgh! Now his finger was just out of reach of the big red button. Still, the dark, filthy Thames water flooded in. The poor gorilla was now up to her neck in it and flailing around in desperation. Whoosh! Woo! Splush! More terror was to come. The weight of the water caused the U-boat to upend, throwing Captain Spear off his station. The submarine descended into the riverbed. Creak! Eric desperately swam up to the air pocket to have a gasp. Gasp! Sid was floating face down in the water, and Eric feared the worst. Meanwhile, the gorilla's head was slipping into the depths. Blub, blub, blub. Eric turned Sid over so that he could breathe. Then he grabbed the gorilla. Gertrude, hold on! The terrified animal just managed to grasp onto the boy's back. Meanwhile, Spear yanked an underwater breathing device off the wall and placed it over his face. The man seemed hell-bent on pressing the red self-destruct button, and causing as much death and devastation as he possibly could. For the glory of the Fuhrer, he shouted before diving down below. Oh no, muttered Eric. Gertrude, hold on to Sid. I'm going after him. The boy managed to unhook the gorilla's arms from around his chest and place them over the old man, before diving down into the depths after Spear. Splosh! The water was so dirty that it was hard to see anything other than a blur, but Eric could just make out a large gray air tank on the captain's back. Just as Spear reached the red button, the boy grabbed hold of the tank. A vicious struggle began, causing them both to float back up to the stern of the submarine, which now only had a tiny pocket of air at the top. Gasp! The submariners were swimming past, desperate to escape the sinking U-boat. Rats! Exclaimed Spear. Filthy, cowardly rats, all of you! I will destroy you! I will destroy you all! Using his superior strength, the captain wrestled the air tank from Eric before striking him across the face with it. Bash! Ugh! Eric was knocked out. All was black. All was silent. Chapter 61, A Watery Grave. The next thing Eric knew, a big rough tongue was licking his face. Gertrude! He exclaimed, waking up with a start. The gorilla held on to Sid with one hand and put the other on her heart to tell the boy how much she loved him. Eric smiled and did the same. Where's the captain? Asked the boy, seeing that the air tank was floating by his side. The gorilla cocked her head, trying to understand. Thinking fast, the boy mimed the captain's peaked cap. Gertrude pointed downwards. No, thought Eric. Spear is going to push that red button and then we're all going to die. Bash! The U-boat lurched violently as the bow struck the riverbed. Crink! Eric grabbed onto the air tank. Could it somehow be used to propel him the way up to the surface of the Thames? There was no way a gorilla could swim. Sid was still knocked out cold, and Eric couldn't leave him or Gertrude to a watery grave. The boy heaved the old man into place, astride the air tank. Then he mimed for Gertrude to hold on to Sid. Eric then climbed onto the back of the tank. Let's get out of here, said the boy, pointing the tank upwards towards the hatch of the U-boat. Just as he was about to turn the nozzle to let air out, disaster struck. The Braun twins had swum up through the U-boat. We all die together, spluttered Bertha. For the love of the Fuhrer, added Helene. Each sister grabbed hold of one of Sid's ankles to stop them from escaping. There was no time to fight them off, so Eric spun the nozzle. Splurt! Sid's false legs came off in their hands. Plop, plop. Those old tin legs of his had come in handy after all. As the twins were left behind in the U-boat, clutching onto Sid's legs, shouting, Nine! Our three heroes shot through the hatch. Swoosh! And that's going to do it for chapter 60 and 61. Now, you do need to go in and answer some questions, and do them in complete sentences, of course, and retell us about the chapter. Have a great rest of your day. See you tomorrow for chapter 62.